Hey friends, it is time to finish up Dingoes at Dinner Time. We read chapters 7, 8 yesterday, and today we are reading chapters 9 and 10. So let's see, we left off with Jack and Annie finally heading back to Frog Creek Woods, right? They got into the magic tree house and they wished to go back home, and that is where we left off. So we are reading chapter 9, which is called What Boy? Oh, we also have to see if that spell has been broken on Teddy. All right, let's find out. Welcome back, came a soft, lovely voice. Jack opened his eyes. It was Morgan. They hadn't seen Morgan in a really long time. Morgan, cried Annie. She threw her arms around the enchantress. Jack jumped up and hugged Morgan too. It's so good to see you both, said Morgan. Arf, arf. And it's good to see you, too, said Morgan, smiling at the little dog. Look, said Annie. She reached into Jack's pack and pulled out the piece of painted bark. It's a gift from a kangaroo. We have all 4 gifts now, said Jack. Good work, said Morgan. She picked up their first gift. It was the pocket watch from the Titanic. Once upon a time, there was a boy who wasted time, Morgan said. This watch teaches him that time is very precious. It must be used wisely. Morgan picked up their second gift, the eagle's feather from the Lakota Indians. Sometimes the boy was afraid to stand up for himself. The eagle's feather teaches him that a small creature can be one of the bravest. Morgan picked up the lotus flower from the forest in India. Sometimes the boy did not respect nature. This flower teaches him that nature holds many wonders. Morgan picked up the piece of bark with the painting of the rainbow serpent. Sometimes the boy didn't want to study other times and places, she said. This painting teaches him that there is mystery, magic, and wisdom in the traditions of ancient peoples. What boy? Jack asked. Who are you talking about? Asked Annie. Morgan didn't answer right away. She placed her hands on Jack and Annie's shoulders. Thank you, she said, for helping this boy learn his lessons. Thank you for breaking the spell. What boy? Jack asked. Arf, arf, arf! Jack and Annie looked over at Teddy. Then something magical happened. In a flutter of time, in the spin of a whirlwind, Teddy was changed. He was no longer a dog. He was a boy. Chapter 10 is called Dreamtime. The boy was on the ground on his hands and knees. Meet my young helper from Camelot, said Morgan. The boy glanced up. He had a friendly, freckled face and twinkly dark eyes. His hair was the same color that Teddy's fur had been. He looked a bit older than Jack, about 10 or so. Am I back? He asked. There he is. There's Teddy. He's not a dog anymore. That's him right there. You're back, said Morgan. The boy leaped up and hugged her. Thank you, he cried. And I hope next time you'll ask before trying the spells in my spell book, she said. The boy grinned sheepishly. I promise. Then he looked at Jack and Annie. I accidentally changed myself into a dog, he said. Annie laughed. But at least I got to have an exciting adventure as a dog, he said. You were a pretty great dog, said Annie. We liked you as Teddy. What's your real name? If you like, you can keep calling me Teddy, the boy said. Or how about Ted? Okay, Ted, said Annie. Jack just nodded. He was still in shock. Ted is training to work in my library at Camelot, said Morgan. He has a very rare gift for magic. Cool, said Annie. You helped us a lot, Ted, said Jack, finally finding his voice. Oh, no, it was both of you who helped me, said Ted. You helped break the spell, and I found new stories to take home. You did, said Annie? Yes, Teddy nodded. The story of the Titanic, the story of the white buffalo woman, the story of the wounded tiger, and the story of the rainbow serpent. I'll write them down as soon as I get home, so people can read about them in Morgan's library. And home is where we must go now, I'm afraid, said Morgan. Oh, said Annie sadly, that's too bad. Yeah, said Jack. He was sad too. I know we will meet again someday, said Ted. I hope so, said Jack. Me too, said Annie. Bye. She started down the ladder. Jack pulled on his pack. With a heavy heart, he followed. When they got to the ground, they looked up. Morgan and Ted were at the window. They both seemed to glow in the late afternoon light. The magic treehouse will return for you soon, said Morgan. I promise. She waved, and they all waved back. Goodbye, Jack and Annie, she said. Arf, said Teddy. In a flutter of time, in the spin of a whirlwind, the magic treehouse was gone. For a long moment, Jack and Annie stared at the empty tree. Ready for dinner? Annie asked softly. Jack nodded. He felt dazed as they walked silently through the Frog Creek woods. When they came to their street, the sun was setting. A flock of black birds flew through the silvery pink sky. Annie broke their silence as they headed for their house. We had great adventures with Ted, didn't we? She said. Yeah, said Jack. It was like, he searched for the right words, living in a dream time, said Annie. Yeah, said Jack. He smiled. That was exactly what it was like. And there's a picture of Jack and Annie walking home after another awesome adventure. All right, friends. I believe that next week on Monday, Miss Katie is going to start reading Magic Treehouse book number 21. I wonder which one that's going to be. I'm super excited to find out. I hope that you enjoyed this one. This one was pretty great. So stay tuned for next week because we will start reading number 21. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye.